This is your control board or your foot pedal control for your hydraulic gear motors. This is your control board or your foot pedal control for your hydraulic gear motors for man installation, helical installation at residences. Pretty self-explanatory. This thing is actually a piston, so whenever you step on the pedal, it will have a flow rate one way, and then whenever you step on the pedal the other way, it'll put the actuator in, and the pressure will go the other way. It does have a neutral position too, which we're actually in. So to go into this position, I'm not standing on it, so it's going to be a little bit more. It'll come out like this. And then to go down, we're just going to step on it and it'll go back in. And then neutral is going to be right there when it's nice and flat like that. Now, these have the same adapters that you're going to have on your drive head as you're going to have on your hoses, so everything can line up together. Now with this, you need to make sure you read in and in. These two are going to be from your pump, and then these two are actually going to go run hoses over to your drive head to utilize the actuator. Now, with utilizing these, we want to have gauges on here. Now, you can either put the gauge on the foot pedal to be read and somebody recording, or you can put the gauges on the drive head in line with the hoses. Either way works. You're gonna get the same numbers. It just kind of preference on what you like to utilize for reading your PSI values. Now, we use smaller PSI values. We use 5,000 PSI gauges for helical installation. The reason being, so we can actually read it. With push pier, we were using 10,000 PSI because we have the option of going up that high with PSI and we need to monitor it. With your hydraulic pumps, they're only going to kick out right around 3,000 to 3,500 PSI worth of pressure, so we don't need anything above and beyond this. Now, what you'll notice with this gauge, it has a sticker on it. That means that this gauge has been certified. It's a certified gauge. Certified gauges are different than just a gauge you buy out of the box. We have to send it in, get it certified that it is reading accurately, and then it's good for a year. So you can see a date range on this. So whenever we go to a job site, they ask for a certified gauge from the engineer. We have this, but then we also have paperwork validating what test was done and validating that it is accurate. So if you don't have one of these and it looks similar to this, it's probably just a regular out-of-the-box gauge, whereas this one's a certified gauge. You don't need certified gauge. Gauges out of the box are going to be accurate most of the time. Very rarely are they not accurate. And it costs money and it costs time to get stuff certified. So not all of our gauges that we use for residential projects are going to be certified. Certified gauges are needed for more commercial applications with continuous inspections from engineers or various engineering groups. Now these, again, just like with our drive head, we're going to clean the hoses off, or the connectors off on both sides. This one's pretty clean, so really don't need to spray it down. And then same with these, like most of the time, like you can use your glove just to clean them off, but if you have any dirt or grime in there, you want to make sure to spray it so it comes out. And to connect these, all you do is line up your holes and press, and you saw it sling back up. Now to disconnect, you're going to line up, there's actually a little ball right here in a groove. You need to make sure that lines up. So whenever you're doing an install, you want to make sure it's turned to the side so this just doesn't pop off randomly, or if it gets kicked or whatever, it's not going to become disengaged. To take it off though, we're going to line up that groove with that ball, just like that, and then we can push it down and it'll pop right off. With your gauges, you definitely want to disconnect them when you're done utilizing them and store them in a safe place because they are temperamental. There is fluid in here. There is a seal at the top. If that seal comes off, all that fluid comes out and your gauge is essentially worthless. So you got to make sure you keep your gauges in a safe, secure location so you don't have any damage to them and they can be used multiple times over and over again.